His legacy is not just one of achievement, but a legacy of profound connection to the people he serves. Please join me in welcoming Westchester County Executive George Latimer as he delivers his farewell address.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, my friends. You've done me a great honor by being here today. It has been written in prose and in song that to everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under heaven, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to reap, a time to break down and a time to build up, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance. This is the human condition throughout eternity. A time to begin and a time to end. The first time that I entered this chamber was 33 years ago, in 1991. I sat about where Mayor McKenzie was sitting. At the tender age of 38, I sat in that gallery as a legislator-elect, trying to understand the workings of this body. Next month, it will be 27 years since I stood at this podium, newly elected as chair of the Board of Legislators. 20 years ago, almost to the day, I stood up on the floor of this chamber, sitting where Legislator Clements sits, and I said once before goodbye. And after 13 years, I was leaving the county legislature to serve as a freshman state assemblyman. 7 years ago, I returned to this podium in my first visit as county executive-elect to ask for permission to bring the annual State of the County message back into this chamber. And that night, I said, the author Thomas Wolfe was wrong. You can go home again. Standing here before you, I am home again. So I return here, once more home, in my last days of service to this county government. I'm a lucky man. I'm a blessed man to have had this opportunity. I have valued each of you in your respective roles for the work that you've done and for the work that we have done together. If there were a Mount Rushmore for county executives, the spots would have long ago been filled by the sculpted faces of Blakely and McCallion, Del Bello and O'Rourke. My tenure here, 7 years, is among the shortest of the terms of my predecessors. 6 of my 8 predecessors have served longer than I have. They built the platform on which we stand, which is why I have asked you to help me honor them with the Andrew O'Rourke Trailway and the Andrew Spano Archives, and as we rededicated this building, the Edwin McCallion Office Building. And yet, we have had our own achievements. We have fixed Memorial Field, Sprainbridge Pools, Washington Headquarters Miller House, the infrastructure at Playland, and the O'Rourke Trailway. We built the new New Rochelle Family Court, and we placed EV charging stations everywhere. We electrified our buses, and we made them free over the summer. We fought COVID wisely, and we saved lives. We invested in affordable housing, and we invested likewise in the expansion of Regeneron and Morgan. We funded the police to fight crime, and we funded child care for those who couldn't afford it. We honored Diwali, Nowruz, Gold Star Mothers, World War I veterans, Chinese Lunar New Year, and African American trailblazers, and members of the LGBTQ community. We've recognized our Hispanic, Latino community, Jewish, Italian, Albanian, Armenian, Pakistani, Jordanian, Egyptian, and Irish neighbors. We cut taxes and we froze taxes over 6 years. And we built up our reserves and we raised our bond rating. We built a new relationship with our local governments and with our school districts, and we shared revenue with them. We worked closely with our state legislators as colleagues and as friends. We treated migrants with respect, and we treated mothers with maternal health care issues with respect as well. We passed laws to reduce waste and plastics and to require truthful disclosure by candidates and to ensure access to women's health facilities. We repaved the airport runway, and we repaved Mamaroneck Avenue from White Plains to Mamaroneck, and countless other county roads and bridges. And with those public projects, we created good-paying union jobs for our men and women who work with their hands, building and repairing this county. We supported our workforce with respect and compensation, union and non-represented alike. And we did all of this with an attitude of friendship, no pomposity, no arrogance, with the spirit of respect and good neighborliness. And we have shown that Democrats and Republicans can work together and can find common ground. And on these major issues, that even when we disagree, we can still show respect to each other. We did this, all of this, we did together. I'm grateful to have reached this podium with so much good to report. I suspect I will return to this podium as a member of Congress to update you all on the progress in our nation's capital when the time is right. And we'll continue to see each other across the communities we represent, because it's a never-ending campaign trail, which is the reality of holding a 2-year term of office. We've had our agreements and we've had our disagreements, and we will again in the future. Democracy assumes debate and competition of ideas and people, and it is in the hot fire of debate and conflict that the strongest steel is forged. It is true that we compete for our ideas and for the power to implement them, but it must also be true that we are all Americans. We're tied together by fate and faith, and we cannot succeed or even survive as a house divided, as Lincoln once said. When Lincoln took his leave of Springfield, Illinois, to go to Washington to assume the presidency, he never returned, except to be buried. Modern travel and longevity changes that calculus greatly. But it reminds us that power comes from here that propels you to D.C. and not the other way around. Some people feel that achieving power will make America great. Some people feel we are close to a crisis equal to 1860 or 1932. Time will tell. I hope what I learned in Rice City Hall, in the New York State Capitol, and in this building will prepare me best for what lies ahead. A number of my friends have remarked that I didn't seem especially exuberant to have won this victory and to head off to the big show in national government. Perhaps so. I see the clouds at hand, the international threats, the domestic strife. It's very sobering. This moment is not about any personal achievement or an electoral victory. The needs of our country come first. I am not in the least worried about how nice my DC office is or isn't, or what perks may be provided. But I've always been that way. No name on the signs, no entourage, no pay increase, tougher term limits. The personal stuff just doesn't matter to me. It never has. The challenge ahead does. This land has serious problems to deal with, and I want to stand with the best minds and the best hearts to work through our differences and address those problems. And if we spend too much time dwelling and rehashing the past, we are going to lose the present, and we are going to lose the future. the future. That's why people put us here. This nation has risen to every test so far. 1776, 1861, 1933, and 1941, 9/11, 2001. Let us, in this holiday season, again heed the words that Dickens gave to the ghost of Jacob Marley when he confronted his partner, Ebenezer Scrooge, in A Christmas Carol. When told by Scrooge he was a good man of business, the ghost of Marley replied, "Mankind was my business. The common welfare was my business. Charity, mercy, forbearance, benevolence were all my business." It is time for us to rise up again, to get above petty angers, to get above identity and rigid ideology, and get above raw ambition. We have to show drive and determination in the face of these difficulties. So, I take my leave from this building. Your challenges continue. The work is never done. There is no indispensable man. My time here ends, yours continues forward. But there are indispensable principles, and there is indispensable faith. On some Monday, soon to come, I will look out the window of the Amtrak train over the open lands of New Jersey, the skylines of Philadelphia and Baltimore, the backyards of New Brunswick, Bristol, Newark, and Newark. I will never forget what I learned in this building. Not ever. And I will still be found alongside of you on the streets of Yonkers and Harrison, Tuckahoe and Co-op City, in Hartsdale and Wakefield and Port Chester. Right alongside of you, proving in small things every day that democracy is still the best form of government known to mankind. Goodbye for now. Thank you.